Hello, I'm sure by now you know that my channel is all about helping you improve your chances of getting a visa and how to go about it doing it yourself. And today I'm going to be talking about things not to do during your visa interview. 3 mistakes you need to avoid when you go for your interview. My name is Fumilayo Fatoberu and I'm a travel enthusiast. I've been to 18 countries and all of my visa application I've done by myself. Now, I've talked to a lot of people about their visa process or application gone wrong. And I've gotten a lot of irritating, annoying answers from them that I think about it, or when I see the documentation they put forward, I think about it and I'm like, if I were to be a visa officer, I would absolutely deny you this visa myself. First thing I would say today, especially for the US Embassy, they don't like documents. Documents can be forged, you can falsify anything. That is why they always prefer for you to come in for an interview. So the reason why the US Embassy always likes to interview one-on-one is because they want their visa officers to determine if the applicant is credible or not, if they're telling the truth, if they deserve the visa. Because if you just forward your documents like the other embassies ask for, they don't know if it's falsified, they don't know if it's something that we as Nigerians call package. So they need you to come and stand right in front of them to talk about how you deserve this visa. And today I'm going to be talking about the 3 mistakes that I've seen people make and that you should avoid if you want to get a positive response. That being said, about the US consulate not liking documents, there are instances where documents can help you. So if you are going for your visa interview, by all means, please make sure you go along with the right document, and then I will dive into this video. So first off, I will be talking about documents. There are right ways to bring your documents for your interview when you go to the embassy. Having your document looking all messed up, and then when you are asked to bring out a document or a particular file, then you're flipping through and then flipping through in front of the person interviewing you, is a very wrong way, because it shows that you're not prepared, because then you're trying to look for documents and then you're flipping through and then you're flipping through, then you're picking from the floor, you're looking down. It makes you look unorganized and ultimately it might lead to a refusal. That is a wrong way to put together your document or to present your document, and this is what you should avoid. Rather, do this. Put together your document in a very nice pile. And look at what I've done here. I have a postage stamp here with different colors and I've labeled them accordingly. So if you're asked a question, for example, you're asked about your work, the first one I have labeled here is employment, and you can just pull it out nicely. And then I have bank here or finance that you can put it here. You have invites, and so all your documentation, you don't need a lot, but whatever it is you bring, make sure it's in a nice pile and it's looking nice and decent. Now, the second common mistake I've noticed, which can be easily avoided and which you should avoid at all means, is giving one-word answers, one word or monosyllables. You should avoid this totally. Now, visa officers are very busy. They're probably tired by the time you get in front of them, because let's be realistic. When you go to the embassy, I'm using the US Embassy as an example now. When you go there, you probably have like 6 or 7 people interviewing, and then you see the crowd that you have outside, meaning one person, one visa officer can interview up to 100, 150, and sometimes 200 in a day. Now, they're probably tired, they're irritated, they need to take a break, and then you get in front of them and they ask you questions and you give a one-word answer. Do you know how annoying that can be? So think about it. If you can help the visa officer by making his or her job easier, don't you think you would have a better chance of getting your visa approval? So if, for instance, if the visa officer asks you what you do for a living, and then you say, I work at this company, then that means he has to ask again, what's the name of the company? Then you just give it one-liner and the name of the company, and you keep quiet. And then he or she has to ask again, what does the company do? And then you give a one-liner and then you keep quiet. And then he has to ask again, Where is this company? Then you give a one-liner and you keep quiet. It is frustrating. Why don't you do it this way? When you're asked what you do for a living, you go ahead and explain. So this is how I would respond. I'm a lawyer at Crimson Tide Chamber. I'm a junior partner and looking to make a senior partner next year. We're more into maritime kind of law and we do corporate as well. That way, you have saved them from asking 3 or 4 questions, which is like, okay, this is getting interesting. You get the person's attention and you're more into the visa application process that way. And with just one question, the visa officer already has an idea of what you do, what you're up to, what your current situation is, and it makes it easier. It doesn't look like you're trying to hide something, but you are open. And I always say that when you are attending an interview, make sure you talk. It's like you are trying to build on a story. So befriend this person, have a conversation. Don't just talk like you are at an interview. Talk like you're talking to a friend, but of course be formal about it. So never ever give monosyllable answers when you go for your visa interview. And the third and last mistake I will talk about today is taking wrong advices. Guys, if any agent says to you that you have 100% guarantee to get that visa, please run. That is so not possible. Nobody can guarantee you that. Once you hear that you have 100%, which unfortunately is what most people want to hear, but once you hear that, please run. It means that it's a major scam. It is a big scam. The only person that can guarantee your visa at that moment is the visa officer interviewing you and nobody else. So any agent saying this or that to you, please run. It is a major scam. Another thing I'll tell you to be skeptical about is anyone that tells you that they know the exact question that they would ask you. Now, visa officers have a lot to do and they have short time to interview you. The maximum your interview will take is 3 minutes, so you only have between 1 to 3 minutes to prove yourself to them. Now, earlier I said that make sure you volunteer information, but just don't give out too much information. And then this time I'm saying do not memorize any answers. Don't appear scripted when you're answering your questions, because if you deal with agents that tell you that they know the questions they would ask you, then that means they would give you a script to memorize to answer those questions, and then you go on with that script. So just imagine a visa officer that has interviewed like 10, 12 people or 20 people before you that day, and all these people have gone through an agent as well, and then you all come with the same scripted answer. What do you think will be the outcome of that? You would never get a successful outcome. Any visa officer that is going to interview you, please bear in mind that is looking for reasons not to give you that visa. So if you come to him or her and then you appear scripted, that is a red flag there, and I'm not sure you're going to get that visa. So why not do this way? Yes, there are some questions that they are often asked, that questions that are repeated, like for example, why the US, or what are you going to do in the US? It's something that is common that anybody can ask. But to think that that's the only thing that you'll be asked, or for you to give a scripted answer, will make you not get that visa. Instead, why don't you just be natural, be truthful, relax? And then guess what? If it was the same question like these agents are telling you that will be repeated to you, then why do you think nobody is getting that visa? Everybody will get the visa, because why? I have been asked those 4 amazing questions. I share it. She has been asked those 4 amazing questions. She shares it. You share it. He shares it. She shares it. Everybody shares it. That means once you get to the embassy, everybody knows what the questions are, and we all answer correctly and get our visas approved. So remember that there's no magic formula that if you say this, you will succeed. No. Somebody else might answer the question this way and they succeeded because they have answered some questions correctly, or maybe their body language or the situation is even different from yours. We have different reasons for wanting to take that trip. So don't just memorize what you have been told and think that is the magic formula, and then once you say this to this question, or maybe you get there and they ask why the US and they've already told you to say this answer and you think it's magic that you get it. No, there's nothing like that. Just imagine if you are given an answer that is scripted or you have memorized, it will just show the visa officer that you have memorized this, because they are quick to tell that. And then it's obvious that somebody has said, say this response or give this response and you get the visa. and it just shows that you're not credible or you're not looking to go to the United States for the right reasons, and that way it can lead to a refusal. So I would just say, bear in mind these 3 common mistakes that I've mentioned and avoid them, and you're on your way to getting that visa approved. All the best. Bye bye.